What was the first red flag you noticed?
3rd or 4th grade.
Oh, wow.
You don't forget betrayal, baby. You don't. Okay.
They text me and asked me what I was doing. I said nothing, sitting in my room watching TV. They were like, I know.
I guess you could say I'm a trick.
Okay, let's move on to our next segment. Chemistry fades. After the chemistry, you have to be aligned in goals. To Millennial Minds, we are your hosts.
I'm Chris.
And I'm Amber, and together we are Creme Brulee. So let's hop right into our first segment. It's going to be the Millennial Insight. Okay. And throughout the week, we've been seeing a lot of content on just things that we wish we knew in our 20s. There was actually a couple, don't know the name of this couple, but I do know there was like some controversy around them releasing like a 21-part series about their love story, and her not taking a lot of the advice that she shared for young women to take in their 20s. And just a whole host of other things related to relationships.
Her not taking the advice now?
Yes, now that she is dating someone else. She would, backstory on her, she would give us like an inside look of her dating life and take us on dates, get ready with me's. This is date number 1, date number 2, things she liked, things she didn't like. And so then she entered into a relationship. Her audience got really anxious for her with this new relationship, and her basically not taking her advice that she would share with young girls back in the day when she first started this journey, if you will. Or at least that's the context in which that the story has been covered. And so then I was like, well, what if we made our own list of things we wish we knew in our 20s when we were dating? Right. And so I thought that would be fun just to kind of get perspective, I guess, from two others. There's plenty of videos on TikTok, but I'm interested to see what are some of the things that you feel you've learned.
I would like to know yours. I don't think we've actually touched on this too much. You know, we really didn't know each other in our 20s like that.
Not like that.
We didn't spend that much time together.
Not nearly as much time. I think in our later 20s we did.
Yes, definitely.
I would say that the first thing that I have on my list is, cliche as it is, when someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. Don't.
I mean, that's not even on some 20s.
That's
overall.
I know, but we say it all the time.
At every age.
That is at every age.
We learned that at like 5.
No. I think that it's very different, and I think that putting it in practice, and that's the thing, is like you want to learn from other people's mistakes, right? And there's plenty of us out here who could not grasp this idea in a relationship with a partner. And so you enter into relationship after relationship, red flag after red flag from this person.
You didn't get that experience with like a friend?
Yeah, I got it. I'm sure I got it with friends as well. I think,
and that's where it starts with me.
I think because we're in the context of relationships,
fair.
Relating more to the relationship aspect of it. I would say generally it's a good rule of thumb. However, especially when you're choosing to build partnership with someone, it's even more important, because I'm not building a life with my best friend. I'm building a life with a partner.
Right.
And so if something presents itself to me that I overlook, say not emotionally supportive, right? That's going to manifest itself further down the line, maybe as something even more, emotional abuse or something along those lines.
Yeah,
you see what I'm saying?
Someone actually brought this to my attention, and I think this is, and I'll get into my, example in here in a second. But someone brought it to my attention. I would say like late 20s. And this is when I just started getting out to the dating scene, and more context will follow about that. But someone said, hey, when you're choosing a partner, realize that this is going to be the person that's going to help you through when like your parents are having issues,
Yeah.
when they get older. You're going to want someone there for that, or better yet, make sure you have the right person that's going to help you through that, and it kind of just brought things in perspective. It's just like, damn. So like when my mom calls me, my dad calls me for anything, right? Like if something happens down the line, and God forbid, but old age, they need to be taken care of. Will I have that person that is going to understand what I'm going through at the time? And will they be able to support me through it? Right. So, and honestly, this segues into my first example, and that is finding or trying to create relationships based off of other people's expectations. So before the term couple goes, as you said off camera, I don't even know when that started, but when before that was a thing, you only really had the people that were around you, you know. And honestly, I didn't have too many examples personally of like really good, healthy relationships, marriages, even. Maybe a couple uncles, my mother, eventually she did get into a really healthy relationship. So I think that was good that I got to see her like that. But when I would explore or entertain other women and just wanting to date, there was always this people would try to put information in your head like, oh no, you don't want that, or you need to,
Oh,
or
she talked too much, or is she not going to listen to you?
she slept around. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like it could be stuff like that, and eventually it's just like I don't know, because that then starts to narrow the pool.
Right. Oh,
And
can't get the body, girl.
how are you going to find that person, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like what spaces are you in to find that person if you're having these expectations at 20? You know what I'm saying?
Right. It does shrink, building off of that idea, having so many expectations for a partner at such an
And they're
early
not even
age.
yours.
They're not even
That's what made it
yours,
crazy for me. It's
but
like
like at
I'm
such a
these are the expectations of people that I was around at the time. You
who
know,
were older than you or
no,
around the
actually,
same
I
age.
think it was a balance of both.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was a balance of both because the people that were my age, they are still trying to figure it out, right?
Right.
And the people that were older than me, they didn't have the most ideal situation. So, like, what the fuck am I listening to you for? You know what I'm
That
saying?
honestly
That's what
segues into
kills
something
me.
I was gonna say, but
That kills me, yo, because you and then this is why like I for one, I never gave relationship advice
okay.
until I got into a serious one.
Right.
Like me dating or kicking it with somebody, yeah, that's cool, but I'm not like, if anything, I would say, hey, don't do that. Don't make yourself look crazy. Like, hey, if that's how you feel, that's how you feel. You
If
know what
you
I'm
want to
saying?
stand out with the
I'm
boombox.
not telling, huh? What?
Oh, I was like, if you want to stand out with the boombox over your shoulder, singing to her in the window,
Oh,
do your thing. It's not something I would do.
that's actually what I would do.
Then you definitely should not be giving advice. You are a lover boy. I will say that.
No, but it's like just recently, and so it felt good, right? Because I could tell the guy like, hey, and you know what? I lead with this. Me and you, we've known each other for quite some time, so it's not unfamiliar. When you're starting out and you meet someone, you're still working through like a lot of different stuff. You don't even know their habits. You know what I'm saying? Their routines and stuff like that. That's difficult for me and you. It was a smooth transition, but at the same time, there's some stuff that I'm still learning about you. But it makes it easier because I already know you. So like when people do ask me advice, I have to like start with saying, "Hey, I've known this woman for like 20 plus years, so
Yeah, it's coming from a
it's
different.
different." Yes, it's a
Yeah.
different. It's from a different starting point. But only thing I would tell the guy is like, whenever he would ask me, only thing I would tell him is like, "Hey, make sure it just doesn't like compromise what you believe or how you feel. just kind of put yourself first, right? Like this person, you're just meeting her. Like there's no need for you to, you know, always be there for her. Not saying that it's bad. It's just make sure that, hey, if this is something that you don't want to do or you don't feel good about it, don't do it. And that's really what I would leave it at. But instead, what I received was like, she needs to look like this, dog. I had someone tell me one time. He was just like, you need to get you a young, tall model or something like that. I was just like,
I can't hear you.
oh, I'm sorry. You need to get yourself a young, tall model or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is what you need to go and strive for. This is what you need. I'm like, dog, like that's not even something that I would personally seek, but you're telling me this is what you need. You don't know me, and that's what makes it difficult.
I want to go back to what you were saying as far as expectations and just build off of that really quickly and saying that when you're 20 and you shrink your dating pool so small, and you also are still like a baby adult essentially. Like you're not, because I would say that there's lots of arguments of you're an adult at 18, you're an adult at 25. I truly believe, and I'm going back to Evelyn from the internet with this, is that you are a baby in adulthood in your 20s, and then you are an adult in adulthood in your 30s, and you are an adult at 40. Right? Like your preteens, like your preteens of adulthood is your 30s, and then your adult years actually start in your 40s. Right? Because as a 20 something, you're just now getting out on your own, having freedom in so many ways, going out with friends, exploring. So it's like the baby of your adulthood starting. And then when you get to your 30s, you get more firm in who you are, but it's kind of like your preteens of adulthood, right? It's like we're adults, absolutely. We have real responsibilities. We're working on careers, blah, 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 and we're firming up in our decisions and who we are. But by the time you get to your 40s, bitch, I know who I am. I know who I am. I know what I like. I know what I don't like, but that takes years of forming. So back to the point of when you shrink your pool so small in your 20s and you've just gotten into adulthood, and I put that in air quotes, you just got to adulthood, it's like you've eliminated so many people. And honestly, you haven't explored enough to even really give a critique of what you like and don't like.
Yeah.
At that point, right?
For sure.
It's like saying, oh, I'm not dating any big guys.
What is big guys?
Or like the teddy bear guys, right?
Oh, okay.
Right? I don't know if I don't like a teddy bear, quote unquote, at 20. Maybe if you're not attracted in that sense, but to cut off a whole line of people, and maybe that's not a great example, but to cut off a whole line of people, right? Because of perception or looks or whatever, is honestly, it can make dating very discouraging, is the point that I get to. Because then you're going out, you're trying to find people, but it seems no one meets this extra small list that you've created, and you don't even know if that's the kind of person that you even like yourself. Because we're not talking about engaging with people in any type of meaningful way, is the point that I'm making, which comes back to, which makes me go into the whole idea of after chemistry. And I can't remember where I saw this, but very true for your 20s, that chemistry fades, right? And after the chemistry, you have to be aligned in goals. If you are not aligned in goals with this person, after like chemistry can come from being aligned, if you ask me, right? And I think so often we think we think, oh, they have to be handsome, and I
can agree with that.
Yeah, like we have to, have this hot and heavy love and passion, and the kisses are this and that. And then once you pass that, then you want to get into what the goals are, right? And I think truly it should be the reverse. If you can't align with this person on where you see your future.
But when did you know what you wanted in your 20s?
I wouldn't say that I knew exactly what I wanted. However, I have always been career driven.
Because I think that's an adulthood.
I don't think so. Because the thing is, I think it's a way of flipping the idea. In our 20s, it's expected that we're looking at mostly looks and this, that, and the third. We're looking at mostly the surface level things. But I do think that 20-year-olds have the ability to look at the opposite side of the coin and to make that just as much of a focus as the physical attraction. And so I'm not going to say just because you're in your 20s and you haven't ironed out completely what you want to do doesn't mean that you know exactly what you don't want your life to look like. You can be aligned in that sense. I don't want to be out homeless and broke and this and that, right? So even if you don't know that you want to save X amount a year, you want to do this type of career, and you want to have 3 kids and blah, 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 what I do know is that that's the way that I'm working toward. Are you working toward those things as well? What does your future look like in that regard?
Oh, that's fair.
Right? So I think that should be the focus for you as a 20-something, is still hammering that out, but also engaging with people who align with you in that sense, and then thinking about what is chemistry with this person. Because truly, a person becomes more and more attractive in my eyes the more that we just align on principles, personally. And I know that was a long-winded explanation back around to expectations.
No, I think I think it's one of the reasons why this works. I think early on, maybe we couldn't tell, when we were younger, but there was something there.
There was always something there.
There was something there, and honestly, I was always a big thing for me, and so part of me doesn't regret having these quote unquote expectations. I don't even want to call them that. It's just preferences.
Oh, they're gonna come get you.
No, it's just what I prefer.
Preferences.
I just prefer, like, I wasn't someone that was going out in my 20s, and yeah, like, I was still trying to figure things out, like most. However, I knew what I didn't want.
Right.
And if I could see what those, and people could change over time, right? And maybe that was my ignorance, is thinking that, oh, this is how you're going to be going forward. You know what I'm saying? People could change over time. However, I made sure to stay away from certain people that just didn't. I'm not. Just to give you an example, right? Some people would look at me as a homebody. That's not entirely true. I just don't like going out every weekend. 4-5 times a week. I don't like doing that. But if I'm coming across someone that that likes to do that, I'm not ever going to kick it with you, like, in that regard, or I don't see anything going forward, and yeah, you could change and maybe you could tone it down and stuff like that, but I don't know what that would cause, because I think at 20 you kind of like solidify your foundation. I've always been a family oriented individual, so like the kids thing, that's pretty, I mean, it's not high on my list of things that I want, but it's there. I've always been someone that wanted to live a very comfortable life. Whatever that looks like. I can't put a dollar amount on it, but if there's someone that isn't into savings, into saving like I would be or am, then yeah, absolutely. Like I'm perfectly fine. But see, when I was narrowing down the pool of women that I would date because of this advice that I was hearing, it was all physical stuff. There was nothing
Right.
mystical.
Mental.
There was nothing mental. There was nothing. There was nothing emotional. You know, that's another thing as well. It was just all physical stuff, right? How she looked, and like the body and all this other stuff. So it was messed up, and I feel like it really slowed down my ability to not seek a partner, but actually in hindsight, it gave me the opportunity to really, really learn myself.
I would say, so learning yourself, would you say that being single then is a strength in your 20s?
For me, yeah, I would say so. If I had to do it again, I wouldn't be single. I would try to explore it a little bit.
A little bit more?
Yeah.
Well, it brings me into my next kind of point of trusting your instincts. And
Okay.
I don't know, this may be controversial, I don't know, but I feel like so often as women we don't follow our gut and we don't listen to our instincts, and it kind of goes back to that red flag idea, but we don't listen to our instincts and we don't follow our gut, and we can fall into the trap of being gaslit into believing that we're the problem in a situation or in a relationship. Maybe we're overly caring or, want to be around or things like that. I feel like as women, we have to, or as a 20 something, when you feel like,
I'm about to say, let's keep it there. This is age specific.
In your 20s, when you feel like in your 20s, men a lot of times, or from my experience, are wanting something from you the majority of times. And it's being aware of the way that you're interacting, the things that they're saying, the actions that they are doing, really being aware of those things and making sure that you step back when you need to. If it feels off, it likely is. And so listening to your intuition in your 20s, I feel like is very important. It's not as strong, but it's there. And so when it comes to entering into any type of, long term, long distance, whatever the case may be, especially I take my experience a lot of times from being on a college campus, and there's guys everywhere, there's girls everywhere, everyone's, in relationships of some sort, and often, with different people or whatnot. Just really taking that time to understand what's happening and from their perspective to me, right? Just as men, and knowing that a lot of times it's not because there's something meaningful to be had there.
So, what is your talking point?
To trust your instincts.
So are you saying in your 20s you felt that you needed to?
I felt like I didn't trust them as much as I should have.
Got it.
I feel like in my 20s, there was a lot of going with the flow, going with what was, being said or told to me, or, you know, uh, feeling like, oh, they really, care about, you, because you're out by yourself, you're doing your thing, you're living your life, you and this guy are having a good time. And so you're believing that this is something more than what it actually is. And a lot of times it's not.
Yeah.
A lot of times it's just manipulation.
Yeah.
A lot of times it's just to, get the goods. A lot of times it's just to get you to, spend some money or whatever the case may be. It's not because there's actually a deeper meaning or understanding or care there. And as women, being very emotional beings, just being emotional in nature and nurturing in nature, it's very easy to not listen to what your heart is telling you, or what your gut is telling you. Like,
that's unfortunate.
Something's off with this. And a lot of times that manipulation from the men, they understand maybe on a subconscious level that we are emotional beings, right? I think that that's just a general thing with men and women, right? Is that women are more, emotional, men are more I can't think of the word that I'm looking for, logical, right? And so, there can be this relationship between the two.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. I can't speak from y'all's perspective, nor would I be able to understand it. Even as a man, right? Like, this is gonna sound crazy. I've had people take advantage of me. It's gonna sound nuts. But yeah, you I'm someone who also goes with you kind of, well, in my 20s I was also someone that just went with the flow. Didn't really push back on a lot of things, you know what I mean? Eventually, like, I just was like super stubborn, and I just didn't want to do anything that I did not want to do.
Oh, I love that for you, babe.
Yeah, I think that kind of, and that also led me to really learning myself, and kind of getting an idea of what I like and don't like, and just where I see myself. So, that time frame, was important. But anyways, I feel like intuition is a very strong thing for everyone. And it's tough when you're in your 20s and you want to listen to it, but and it goes back to what you say in the beginning, right? When people show you who they are, believe them, right? That first sign, that's a tough one, especially when you're dealing with someone that's difficult. That first sign can really, it's not so much determine how the relationship goes, it's just what you probably will accept later on.
What was the first red flag you noticed that you can think of off the top of your head, of just a red flag you noticed in any relationship? That kind of like you think later, you're like, oh, I should have stopped it right there.
This is a little
if you don't want to get personal, don't get personal, but I mean, like, something just very high level.
No, this is a little immature. I think I was like in 3rd or 4th grade.
Oh, wow.
And you don't forget betrayal, baby. You don't. Okay, you don't forget it. All right, so like,
so she was gonna be your girlfriend in 4th grade.
She was messing with the homie.
Oh my god,
she was messing with the homie, and I found out on the field trip.
Oh my god.
So that's I don't mean to get intense, Josh.
You found out on the field trip?
Yes, I found out on the field trip. I think I told you her name. It's not like you would know her, but I think
I don't remember this at all.
Okay, I'll tell you all. But yeah, like it was that red flag to me, right? And look, she could be social, she could just talk to everybody, but like, I think I didn't realize, like, I think that was like the first time I noticed what flirting was.
When you saw it, on
it was just a little too much, you know what I'm saying, in hindsight, right? And I don't remember like all the details, but I just remember that is not how we talked,
right?
And it was kind of, I was just like, this doesn't seem right, but I ignored it, right? And now in hindsight, I look at it and say, oh, you know what? Okay, that was a little, but I mean, I don't know. Like, was that jealousy in that sense?
I don't know, because you were in 4th grade, so I don't really know. I would say an instance for me where I should have said, run for the hills, and I've told you this story, was in the past. I was dating someone, and they text me and asked me what I was doing. Do you remember what this story?
Oh, yeah.
And they text me what was I doing? I said nothing. Sitting in my room. I was living on campus at the time. Sitting in my room watching TV. And they were like, I know. And they were watching me through the window. I know someone is going to say, you're a dummy. Why didn't you do whatever? And this is the delusion that you live in.
You were living by yourself.
No, I was living on campus. And the way the dorms were set up, it was an apartment style dorm. So it looked like a bunch of apartments. Essentially,
you see where my mind, and this is where I need to apologize, because my mind instantly like, why did you call the police? You know what I'm saying?
And that's what I'm saying is like,
that's the gaslighting,
and that's the gaslighting,
that's
right?
the problem.
So for me, you know, me being young and dumb, you know, I'm like, what do you mean? And they're like, oh, I know, you know, oh, I can see you. And they were like outside my window, you know, looking through the blinds like a freak. Okay. Essentially, it looks, it when you say it out loud, it sounds creepy as hell. And I was like, oh, this is so cute, because I'm such an idiot. In thinking, or I was such an idiot in thinking, like, oh, this is just a way they show that they care.
I can't remember. See. Now the story seems a little muffled for me. Were y'all still talking? Were y'all together at the time?
No, we were dating.
Oh,
this was like very early on.
Oh, okay.
Yes, this was like very early on in us dating in.
Oh, I could see college. How you would think it's cute. I thought it was during a break.
No. We were actually dating. Like, we were together.
Yeah,
at that time.
Yeah, I could see.
Right, and so I just thought, oh, this is cute. Oh, he
no
cares.
Flowers.
Like, that's what I'm saying.
No boombox.
Like nothing. You know what I'm saying? At least you came empty-handed, dog. You know, so, and that just shows, you know, like, so just from that, I was like, oh, hindsight is 2020. But if someone does some weird ass stuff like that, it's like, now we have more messaging today. We have more understanding of
examples,
harassment, things like that, essay. Like, we have all of this terminology that is easily accessible now to understand that that's weird, and that should be a sign to run for the hills, right? Because that wasn't the first time, that wasn't the last time that it happened.
Well, let me clarify, because I know I use an example, but I didn't date often, you know, nor did I have a lot of dating experiences. So a lot of the red flags, quote unquote, we barely got through like a month of communication,
right?
You know what I'm saying? So I don't really have an example for you. I mean, I guess, you know what? How about this? Maybe the red flag that I experienced. This woman, she had her child's father was still around, right? And naturally, he's gonna be around, right?
For me, how old is the child?
I think he was at the time like 7, 8. He was in school.
Oh, okay.
He was in school, but so the child's father was still around. But she swore up and down that there was nothing else going on.
I've heard your line on this.
However, I get a FaceTime, and there's a silhouette.
Not a FaceTime?
Yeah, I called her on FaceTime. And there was a silhouette in the background. She said it was her brother. And I was just like,
red flag. Red flag. I can't prove it, but I just feel like it ain't him.
See, that's where the intuition comes
yes,
in, right?
That is when your intuition comes into play.
And I hate it, right? Because you have to, as much as you don't want to listen to that voice in your head,
you got to.
Yeah, but it could cripple you though.
It can, but it can save you from a lot of stuff.
But it can also ruin something, right? Because if you're an overthinker like myself, that could lead you down something where you don't want to go, nor do you want to be the cause of something good ending.
I think that when you start having conversations, I think that, for example, if my intuition is telling me something, I can come to you and have an honest conversation about it. You see what I'm saying? I think in our 20s, especially, if anything, it saves you from the heartache down the road. Because if I feel X, Y, and Z,
fair,
that's tingling in my stomach and telling me something's off about the situation, and I come and I talk to you about it, right? And then you give me this okie doke loop-de-loop story, you know, that really didn't dispel the issues that the things that I'm feeling, right? You know, it didn't really dispel anything, but and it's one of those things. It is a sixth sense, and science is doing its thing or whatever, but it's starting to become recognized as there's a thing that you can't really, you just know what you know. You just know what you know, right? And there is no way to explain that. But sometimes you just know what you know.
I will say this. Okay, so that predates my latest experience.
What's the latest experience? Am I a red flag? Hold on.
No, okay, no.
I don't know what it takes.
No. Because this will actually yeah, this actually segues into my last talking point.
Okay.
So which is growth often comes from realizing what you accepted in the past, you no longer will accept in the future.
So kind of like growth from every relationship into the next one.
Because I believe I told you, and maybe this was off mic, but we had this conversation. I said like the job that you had before is preparing you for the job you're going to get.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So I feel that way about relationships. The relationship that you had prior is setting you up for the relationship you're going to get, right? So if it was chaotic and lacking intimacy and all this other stuff, and I'm not talking about myself, but if it was all the stuff that you did not like,
you're gonna avoid it like the plague.
No, it's just that when you get into your next relationship, it's going to be different.
You're not going to accept those things from that relationship. What you
wanted from that relationship prior, you're going to get in the relationship that you're currently in. Meaning, if your previous relationship, let me simplify.
Okay.
With your previous relationship, if it is chaotic and all of the stuff that you do not want, your very next relationship will be the antithesis of that.
Antithesis meaning the opposite.
Yes.
But that's because you choose not to accept the things from that past relationship.
It's not about accepting, right? Like, I guess we can use.
Okay, so just for context, we do this all the time.
We could use us as an example.
Let's not use us as an example.
I did not have to come into this relationship looking for red flags because you didn't have them. Does that make sense?
I'm sure that I have some red flags, but they're not red flags that warrant that are concerning.
If I'm someone, I'm not going to be like, hey, I need you to talk to me X amount of time, or I need you to be in constant communication. You just do it. That's the thing. It's not like I'm looking for it or I'm asking you to do it and you're complying. It's just something you do.
Complying. Hold on, this is
it's just something you do, right? And so before you might have had to ask for stuff like that. But when you get into your next relationship, you won't have to. That's all I'm saying.
I don't agree.
So do you? Okay. Let me finish.
Okay.
So the red flag from the previous one. I got a text. I was at work. I got a text. It was like, hey, could you go up to this area and go pick up these earrings? I was just like, no, it was a watch. I was like, the watch that your mom gave you? She was just like, yeah. I was just like, why is it there? She was just like, oh, well, I gave it to a friend last night. I was like, what? Why would you do that? That's like, you don't even let me touch your watch.
Oh, wow.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it was a big deal for her. And all of a sudden, I get up there and then I realize where it is, right? Like, because I didn't have time to like Google the location, but she just told me. And so I get up there and I'm like, what the fuck going on here? And historically, I've there were moments where she would mention being at this location several times.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like just on some, oh, there's nothing to do here, so this is what we do. Like, well, we just rent this out, or we go. It was a hotel. My God, like, I'm sitting here
I'm about to say, like, what are we talking about?
No, but it was like a little motel,
red flag,
right off the interstate. And so she was just like, yeah, this is what we do when we get, when we're been out and we just want to do something extra. We kind of pregame.
They kind of do like an after hour situation or before the turn up at the motel. Now let me say this. That is absolutely a thing. However, it's a red flag for me because I don't do that and I don't like that personally. So the fact that you up at the hotel,
it wasn't even about, because the fact that she mentioned it, and we actually got one. You know what I'm saying? We got one. We kind of kicked it, but
where the hell was y'all? In some country bumpkin ass town with one motel.
I was very thirsty.
Okay,
but it wasn't even that issue. That wasn't the issue. The issue was that you loaned somebody your mother's watch,
right?
That you hold in high regard,
right?
And I'm like,
weird. So whoever you was with, I don't know. It's just weird energy.
It was, and so ever since then, it's not like I was looking for something, and see, that's that voice in your head, right? Like the voice in your head is just like, you know what,
something's off.
Yeah, but at the same, like, it was just waiting and waiting and waiting, and then realizing, like, okay, yeah, this doesn't suit me.
Yeah,
but back to
the lifestyle that this person leads, and sometimes it is something as small as that. Sometimes it is the red flag can simply be that they lead a lifestyle that doesn't match your lifestyle, and it's just like,
and that's what I was talking about
all the time.
That's exactly what I was talking about earlier.
Yeah, it's just like, I don't get down like that, so we just don't align in that regard, and that's a red flag for me. It could be the way that you say something to me. I'm like, actually, I don't even like that. I don't like the way you just said that to me. I don't like that you gave me a demand. Who am I, your dog? No. Like sometimes it can be the tone of words, the actions that accompany them.
And back to demand, I've never once asked you to do something, baby.
No, you've never asked me to do, well, you asked me to do a lot of things, but not like, you don't demand me to do anything.
No, give me an example of something that I've asked from you.
I mean, I don't know.
I think it was the read. I think it was the read receipts. I
asked you did ask me for that. Yeah,
I asked for the read receipts only because I just want to know, like, you saw the message,
right? And we did have a discussion about that. We did. And I said originally, I said no. I think that's stupid because I was like, I don't have read receipts on for anyone, just because I don't want to be felt like I'm put on someone else's timeline to respond to them. And so,
but that wasn't my initial, right? Because it's like, you don't have to respond. I just want to know that you saw the message,
right? And so when we talked about that, I was like, okay, fine. Like, it wasn't a big deal. And so I just,
it wasn't like a tracking thing.
Yeah, it was like, and me personally, I did feel like, I was like, man, read receipts are invasive. It's like sharing your location with someone. There's nothing wrong with knowing where I am for safety reasons or whatever, but I do feel like it's invasive. And the same with the way that our phones work now, all the ads that we get shown, Google's always listening, all of it just feels so invasive. I don't want to add yet another thing that feels like I'm being invaded in my own personal space of going to Kroger's and getting sushi. Like, I just don't want to feel that way. Yeah. So we did have a conversation, but again, we had open conversation and dialogue, and I cut the read receipts on. I don't feel any way about it.
And thank God we were able to have the open dialogue. And that's another thing.
Yeah, because like, again, if we couldn't, then red flag. Oh,
we can't talk about it.
We can't even talk about it. Oh, that might be.
You're so dismissive,
right?
You know what I'm saying? It's just like, no, like, let's just have the conversation. Like, if you could persuade me to change my mind, then it's
yeah. No, honestly, I think we've said something like that. When we're making a decision.
Have you had to ask me to do something from the gate? Because that was honestly like the only thing I think was the read receipts. Everything after that, it was like.
I mean, it's minor stuff. Honestly, it's not even that I've asked you to do anything.
That's my point, baby.
Like that.
Did you have to do that with your last partner?
What, do like
have that like open dialogue? Like, hey, this is like. Did you have to like let them know, like, hey, this is something that I would like for you to do, or Well,
I would say that with you, I did share that I'm very needy, and I know that, and so I like attention
and the other from one my didn't partner. Want nothing from me.
I was like, I like attention. I like kisses. I like text all during the day. I like to be under my partner. I did share that, and not an issue. So
and that's exactly what I'm talking about. Is that when, at least from my experience, from my experience, the fact that it was a complete 360.
But I think that comes from learning.
180, right?
I think that comes from learning from past relationships. You see what I'm saying? Like every relationship I feel in my 20s, as I got into a relationship, got out of a relationship, stayed single for a year, which I would also say that in your 20s, being single, in the words of WTF Wheezy from Decisions, is a superpower. It gives you a lot of time to explore who you are and learn who you are, to
That's
your point, and to create those boundaries and to take the lessons that you've learned from maybe that first relationship in your 20s, apply the lessons during your singlehood before you decide that you want to hop into another relationship, right? And don't feel like you have to be in a relationship to be a woman. I think that's such a common misconception for women, for some reason, for young girls, for the 20 somethings and the 30 somethings, is that we feel that like there's some type of validation in having a man. There's not. There's no validation in it at all, especially if you're unhappy. So I would say though that each relationship that I was in my 20s, did prepare me for where I am today, to say in my 30s, actually, no, I don't want, if you can't communicate with me correctly, if you can't talk to me nice, as the girlies say, if you can't show me emotional stability, etc., actually, I'm good. I've been single, doesn't hurt my feelings at all, and I will move along. Like, and I think that just prepares you.
Everybody's different. I think social media has done a really good job of just kind of putting this narrative out there that one relationship fits all.
And it doesn't. Like the whole conversation of, I would never go 50-50. Well, good for you, babes. Don't go 50-50. like no one's saying that you have to, right? Like that was a whole narrative that was like crazy to me, that was happening online at one point. Just like the whole, my man would never take me to Cheesecake Factory. Like every relationship is different. And
perfect segue. So we're not going to get into the first date phenomena. Like we know, we understand everybody has their preferences. Not so much expectations. But tell me about this. What is it? This Alpine divorce. Well, tell me about that, baby. What was that?
Honestly, I don't think that we have time to get into the Alpine divorce, but we'll touch on it lightly.
Okay, so we do have time.
So the Alpine divorce, there was a trend that was happening on social media. There was a girl who, damn, mom. Okay. She done sent me 32 messages. Look at this. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. My God.
It's that new update.
Gotta be. She don't know how to work her phone.
It's that new update.
But there was a woman's video that had went viral, and she had put something to the effect of POV. Basically, you found out that he hates you. Your boyfriend hates you or something like that. And they were on a hike. And he left her in the woods, allegedly. And she was lost and for like a couple hours or something like that. And she realized like, oh, like he literally doesn't care about me, because why? Right. And so then I started going down into the comments, which really was so shocking to me. The amount of women who are saying, this happened to me too. This happened to me too. Oh, I've ran across women who this has happened to. And I think that really just goes back to, when you spot those red flags, run. Don't give benefits of the doubt. Don't try and smooth it over. I know that we a lot of times will do that, on both ends of the spectrum, men and women, we will overlook if you don't like someone's attitude, like, oh, she's way too bratty. Okay, then don't overlook that and say, you may not be the person that I want to be with.
I stretched myself enough to the point where it was starting to hurt, because it wasn't so much that I wanted to just do the things that I wanted to do and all this other stuff. It's just that, hey, like, I'm with whatever you're with, right? I just think that helps with not so much a partnership, but a relationship, right? When you're starting out, like, you kind of want to just do things together, right? So, like, let me find out your interests and all this other stuff because I'm just starting to know you a little
and
bit.
I think too, let's
hold on.
Okay.
And so, and I think that's the issue here is that people aren't willing to walk away from circumstances and situations for whatever reason. It doesn't matter the age. And I know life happens. Y'all might be damn near living together and y'all both don't have enough money to kind of separate. And so, what's the next step? Right? It's like I just feel for those people that want to get out of a situation, and that's not the way to do it by any means, right? Because you leaving someone out there in the middle of the woods, right? Y'all going on a hike, right? I'm sure she's told people on her side that what she was doing and vice versa, So if for the guys, right? Because that's who is doing leaving. For the guys that are leaving those girls, man, like, y'all are crazy.
No,
Like,
that's insane.
you should definitely find a way. Like, it doesn't matter, man. Like, if you need to go through the struggle of just kind of getting away from the relationship, whatever that may look like, do so. Like, that is very selfish for you to stay in a relationship and leave someone in that way, right? One. And two, if you're unhappy. You know what I'm saying? That's what I really wanted to say. Like, it's so disheartening,
Right. And I would say too, one thing that I want to wrap this segment with is for young people to understand the difference between dating and a relationship, right? Dating is the precursor to being in a full-blown relationship. Just because you date someone doesn't mean you have to be in a relationship with them, right? And I think for like those words can start to be conflated a lot of times. Like, oh, blend. Yeah, it's like, oh, we're dating, and somehow it's a relationship.
How many dates before, or how long?
I would say at least a couple months, because this is what I'm saying. All the red flags become very apparent within those. A lot of them do.
You said a lot of them? I think a lot of them, but not a lot.
But I think enough of them become clear for you to decide if you want to even move forward within 90 days. Truly. Within 90 days, yes, people's representative, as people like to say, is still present.
Yeah.
However, you being in tune with who you are and with yourself and the boundaries that you set within yourself, or at least a rough outline of what you're not going to accept or get down with, at least with that, and you going into dating, right? You interface these two pieces together over these next 90 days. I can knock out a good amount of people that I know. Actually, boss, it's been real. Let's go ahead and choose to go separate ways. And you can date multiple people and not be in a relationship with any of them. And I think that we need to really, for young people specifically, get this idea back out there that dating is just fine. Just because you date someone doesn't mean you have to sleep with them. Dating people is how you get to know people. And to really take that time as a time to really get to know the individuals that you're going on these dates with before you hop into any type of relationship.
Man, I gotta see what your habits look like, and I probably won't know that in 90 days. That's all I'm saying.
I'll know if you go to work or not. I'll know if you Easily.
I ain't got money this week. Look at this.
Oh, I didn't get my check. Oh, I got to get in bed early. I got to get up early for X, Y, and Z. People say stuff all the time about themselves and not even realize that they're giving up certain details about what they do on a regular basis.
Right.
I'm sure that we have. Right. It's just like even as much as people try and keep to themselves, subconsciously we say things that we don't think twice about, but the other person can easily interpret that as, oh, you drink a whole lot. Oh, every day you head out to such and such bar around the corner from your house because it's close and it's the easiest thing you can do to go out. You're there often. Like it may not be a direct correlation, but it does make you think about, I don't know, you at Twin Peaks, 5 nights a week. I know you like to watch the games, but damn, you got a TV at the house.
That's my second job.
Okay. I'm just saying, people say things like that because we all have met the person, the woe it's me character that always has something going on. And that's the one that you always want to look out for. It's always something with them. I'm just saying, there's a red flag.
That's who I used to gravitate towards.
I'm just saying.
Let me help you.
My car broke down, and okay. Let me. Oh, I ain't got no money for gas.
Let me help you.
Oh, I got fired from my job today. Oh, my mama kicked me out. Oh, my best friend betrayed me. It's like, God dang, it's always something happening with you. Those are the people that you be like, and when you're dating. I've ran across many of them, and it may have been a me thing, right? It may have been me attracting. You attract what you want. Know that in your 20s. No, I say that too.
I think, no. I mean, because we all have stuff going on.
But if you're putting out desperate energy, you're gonna get desperate.
That's different. Okay? Yeah.
If you putting out woe is me energy,
you say you're gonna get
woe is me.
You're gonna get desperate men.
Yeah, you're gonna get manipulative type men who can smell that desperation from a mile away, who can smell insecurity.
Well, hold on, because I attracted those women, and I just didn't take advantage of them or anything like that. It's just that I thought I could solve the problem,
whatever the case may be.
And that was my. You said what?
I just said yin yang. I mean, I'm just saying you matched in some sense.
We did match.
You did. You're the problem solver. Here's the problem.
Swipe right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, here's the person, feeling insecure. Here's the person to take advantage of the insecurities. Like, so that's also a thing.
And then once I quote unquote solved the problem, it was over.
Then you're like, actually, it is you.
They left me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
so they got out of Dodge.
I guess you could say I'm a trick.
Okay, we're done. And on that note, let's move on to our next segment.
What is that?
Which is going to be Left on Red, where we read a listener question. We have taken up quite a bit of time, so we're going to make it quick. I grew up in a family where the path was always very clear. Go to college, get a respectable career, and build a stable life. I followed that path almost automatically because it was what everyone around me expected. Now I'm in my early 30s and realizing I never really stopped to ask what I actually wanted. My career is fine, but I don't feel any connection to it. Sometimes I wonder how many of my life choices were actually mine and how many were just inherited expectations. It's hard to tell where my own desires began and where outside pressures end. If I were to start making different choices now, it would disrupt a lot of stability I've built. But staying on the same path feels like continuing a life that may not fully belong to me. At what point do we actually take ownership of our lives?
Oof. I think when you get tired of, outside forces, I think whenever you reach that point, and it's different for everybody. For me, it was like early 20s. Early 20s. And she talked about like, graduating college and stuff like that. And, and she feels like if she was to make a pivot in her life, it could disrupt some sort of stability that she's set for. I would encourage her to continue doing what you're doing, but
them.
Oh, sorry. I thought it was a her. My bad. I would encourage them to continue doing what you're doing because it is important that you have to take care of the main thing, right? So if you're on your own, like just whatever it is, just kind of get an idea. You can still achieve it, right? You can still achieve it. It may not be right then and there, but if it's something that you can achieve in 20 years maybe or something like that, then just kind of set a goal for yourself and kind of outline what that looks like a roadmap in a sense, so you can
Yeah,
get to that point.
I would say that.
And stop listening to people. Last point. Sorry.
I agree with that. Stop your life. We have to understand that our lives are our lives alone to be lived, and we get to choose the way in which we show up and the way in which we partake in this journey, right? And that shouldn't be dictated by others' expectations of us, right? No. We only get, I think that it becomes more and more real in your 30s, which it says you're in your 30s. It becomes more and more real as you get to those 30s and 40s that you realize I have one life to live. And if I keep doing it for someone else, I get nothing out of it. Life is not beneficial for me, and life should be beneficial for you. You should get something out of this life. You should get something out of being fulfilled every day. And so,
I mean,
at what
God,
point?
Who the hell is encouraging you to live a life that you don't see for yourself? That is.
At what point do we actually take ownership of our lives? The moment that you realize that you haven't taken ownership of your life.
That's what I'm saying. Like when you just get tired of that.
Yeah, you get to a point where you're just tired.
You're like, wait a minute. Why am I doing this?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I have talked about this before. However, I have not been okay with career choices in the past, and have deliberately and intentionally made changes toward a career path that feels more fulfilling for me. It's not for anyone else. It's because it feels more fulfilling for me, because I have to wake up and go to sleep every day and live this life. And if that means that I'm going to take a pay cut, great. I'll take the pay cut, because I'm not going to wake up and dread living. If I have to pay bills, at least let it be a job that I can deal with. You know what I'm saying? Or that I can enjoy, or I can find some interest in. Right? And if I need to get other skills, I'll pay for that. I'll do that. I'll work toward that. Mm-hmm. But what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to continue to live in a life or in a space where I don't feel like I am fulfilled. And the same goes with, as we were talking about, with relationships. I'm not going to stay in a relationship that doesn't feel fulfilling. I'm not going to stay in a position that doesn't feel fulfilling. I'm not going to entertain friendships that don't feel fulfilling. Like, all of it has to be in the benefit of yourself.
Yeah, and it comes with time. So
yeah, it comes with time.
It comes with time.
I think the more tired you get of it, the easier it becomes to say, okay, right? Like, I really do believe that that's the case. And so,
most definitely, yeah.
Thank you for your question, and we'll wrap it up there. Final segment that we're going to get into is Left on Red, where we talk about a little bit of pop culture, things that's happening, things that's on my mind. Our segment on my mind.
It's just like, wait a minute.
We're going to get into our final segment, which is going to be On My Mind, where we talk a little bit about pop culture and things that have been happening, within our news cycle, our news world. We might actually have the same thing on our mind for this week. As a matter of fact,
was it regarding an East Atlanta rapper?
Absolutely, absolutely, it was
a millennial icon,
yes,
hip hop legend. Honestly, one of the greatest, not in terms of lyricism, but one of the greatest. I would say top 5 Atlanta rapper of all time. Mm-hmm. top 5 Southern rapper of all time, Goo Wop, Mr. Icy himself. I'm about to say the Snowman.
Oh wow!
I'm trying to think. Mr. 1017.
Yes.
Gucci Mane.
Gucci Mane. Okay.
I will say this to my black listeners. I hope we're all on one accord here.
Black listeners? What does that have to do with anything?
Because I'm tired of this, like, oh, he shouldn't snitch thing. If I'm getting robbed at gunpoint and you take my earrings out of my ear, you take my jewelry off
your neck.
Yeah, and if you're forcing me to sign a document, then the next move is to call the police.
Calling the police.
Like, what are we talking about, man?
I don't like that narrative either. However,
not snitching.
However, like, there was rhetoric shared from Gucci Mane's part,
and this honestly happened way back. I thought it happened like last week.
It just got
out because they made the arrest. But apparently this happened in January. Months ago.
Yes. I think that people have their ideas because of things that Gucci has said in the past, allegedly, and done allegedly in the past. So, I understand people's sentiment in that regard. Also,
people change.
Also, people do grow. People do evolve.
He's a businessman.
You're an artist that's supposed to be working. Like I'm working with you as an artist. You come up in here and rob me. I don't know what you might do next, babes. This might not be the last time I see you. You talking about don't snitch and woo. But if I don't go to the law immediately and nip this in the bud, you might show up next month and do something else because you got away with it this time, and we're going to stop that. We're going to nip that right now because you're not coming back.
Mr. Shiesty, I would have to ask you, what was the end goal here? Because Gucci Mane does not own all of the rights to your music. I hope he knows that. Is because just because Gucci signed that paperwork, that doesn't mean whatever label 1017 is under don't have the rights to those musics, to the music, right? So like you do it with him. Okay, what about the exec?
So now you're gonna show up.
You think Sony's gonna play that with you? Please,
you won't even make it into the building, sir. You won't even make it into the building.
That's why it's so short-sighted. It's like, look, there's a way to do it. And I get it. We've heard these predator stories about businessmen, artists turned execs, right? Mm-hmm. That are allegedly robbing artists of their music. Right. Puff is notorious for that. Right. Birdman, and just these are all alleged. You know what I'm saying? But if that is the case, if that is the case, then that behavior is learned somewhere. Then we need to have there needs to be a broader conversation about the music business as a whole. And I feel like we keep coming back around to this, right? After one of these artists kind of, quote unquote, expose the practices that these execs are displaying and stuff like that. And I'm like, okay, well, you can honestly go to the Russell route if you want. You don't have to sign to these labels, and honestly, I don't know what the terms were. I don't think we will ever know, but I just find it ridiculous, man. And I hate to see it because he just got out.
I don't feel bad.
No, I think he makes good music. I like hearing good music.
I like hearing good music, but when you make poor decisions,
they knew Youngboy was so wild. They put him in the Mormon state and told him, like, all you're doing is recording music. That's all he was doing up in Utah.
Good.
And that's what I'm like, there's a way to do it. Like, if you need to get out there, like,
not the Mormon state, Utah. We done learned so much about Mormons over the last couple of weeks, Slick. Which, very interesting.
It is interesting.
It is very interesting. It's a very interesting
I still think
lifestyle.
I still think they're settlers, though. Like, there is a lot of similarities. Between, like, the Amish and the Mormons. Like settlers.
Yeah,
I feel like there's a lot of similarities there.
But let's get back on topic.
Yes, let's get back on topic. I don't like, guys, like, I think we should offer Gucci a little bit more grace. I think he's just being a businessman. I don't think he did anything differently than Yo Gotti, Stunna, Puff, Jay Prince, Suge
Did you
Knight.
hear 10 had conspiracy theory
Talk to me.
with what Lovely T covered with Glow, allegedly. She said she wouldn't be surprised if Gotti had his hand in this in some type of way of sending
I saw that.
Glow to try and get
Glorilla
to mix with Pooh to get him to come over to their label, and maybe had some type of influence over him in finding a way to get him over to CMG. Allegedly, it's only a conspiracy.
Okay. I see.
They started dropping a lot of music.
I see. Okay. I see.
So maybe Glow might have been tasked with.
I didn't know that Glow was messing with Pooh Shiesty.
Not messing with him. However, I believe a couple of months ago, a lot of music came out with them. I think they dropped like 3 or 4 songs together, back to back to back, 2 months ago. This happened, of course, 3 months ago, right? This happened in January. As soon as, not long after that happened, music started coming out with her and Pooh Shiesty, blah, 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 blah. And she happened to be in the Dallas area.
I'm surprised.
The day, like around that time when this robbery was set to take place, they were supposed to be recording in Dallas, allegedly. I don't know.
I'm surprised you didn't hear this from T, or she didn't cover it. So the same lawyer that represented Gotti and his brother. Now I think he's deceased. My gosh, but his brother at the time of the Young Dolph shooting in the trial, right, or whatever that situation was. That representation, that lawyer is now representing Pooh Shiesty. And so that's where the Yo Gotti connection for me started when it comes to the 10 hat. I didn't know Glorilla was part of that as well. That's why I was like surprised that you didn't lead with that. And I'm curious if T actually touched on that.
She didn't touch on
the lawyer. Mm-mm. I think that is more interesting.
I think they're both interesting. I just think there's a lot of things, a lot of connections that make you wonder.
Because it seemed like Gotti is trying to get a monopoly going in Memphis. Like you have to come through me.
Obviously.
Which I'm not mad at though.
I think I'm not mad at that. I think that free trade, right? If that leaves it open for I think that there should be competition. If you want to go with Gucci, if you want to go with Gotti, or if you want to go with someone else within the Memphis realm, right? So I don't see anything wrong with having competition. I think that it can get dangerous when we're talking about hurting people, unaliving people, those types of things, setting up people. Like, I think that's where we start getting into dangerous territory, because now, again, we had the whole conversation about keeping it about the music, put it on wax, same different side of the same coin. Let's keep it about the music. We're not finna start hurting people just so you can get more names on your label. Like, if you offer them a better deal, offer them, pay to get them out of their contract, or what, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's other ways of maneuvering, right? But because y'all have beef, now the artists have to deal with the beef that you two have. You see what I'm saying? And so now there's this huge feud going on just because one is with Gucci and one is with Gotti. You see what I'm saying? So it's just unnecessary.
Yeah, I mean, there's a way to do it, and I think what you said is correct, right? Like, if you really want out of the deal, you might sacrifice some stuff early on.
Yeah,
right? Like 2 Chainz talked about this when he was signed to Disturbing the Peace. I don't know if you know that, with Luda early on, and this is around Duffel Bag Boy, and so when 2 Chainz started to ascend, or he started to, like, his penmanship started to really sharpen. He realized that he wanted to do the solo thing, and he betted on himself, right? And so Luda came. He went to Luda, asked for a price to get out of the deal that he had. I think it was like 2 or 3 albums or something like that. And Luda told him what the price would be, and 2 Chainz had it, in cash. Now he was ready to go.
Right. Thank you.
and so he paid him, right? But he also he was also generous enough to give. But it wasn't. Oh no, hold on. Let me let me clarify. So Luda said, hey, it doesn't work like that, right? Because DTP is under another label. So it's not like, hey, you're just signing to me, right? It's like, hey, there's other people we got to talk to this too about, right? And and so Chase was fine with that, right? So he got out of DTP deal, but he still owed the label, the parent company, like a certain percentage. And Luda also got that percentage, right? And I think it was like 1% of like his first, like his sales for the first 3 albums or something like that. But it was good. Like it wasn't anything crazy. And yeah, so like he handled it that way. And then there was a bidding war, that followed in 2010, like late 2010, early 2011. And like he was the hottest thing smoking. And sure enough, he went with good music, and the rest is history. So I think there is I agree with you about like the free enterprise and free trade. You know what I'm saying? It's an open market. So if you can shop your music around like LaRussell did, and if there's a label that's willing to pick it up, then so be it. But there's also the education thing too. It's like I don't know, and I think Glow got a lot of pushback because from people, and especially in our community, right? It's that when she was shown on the plane with Yo Gotti, like I guess they were heading somewhere, and she had signed the deal. All you saw was like a stack of cash and a chain. You know what I'm saying? It's just like I don't know if that's the way. Like I'm gonna need something different, and it sucks because you're coming in with nothing potentially but music, and yeah, that gives you some leverage, but not a lot.
But you don't have a lot of leverage.
You don't have a lot.
Also, I think that it does come down to what does this. If you can write into the contract, we can revisit terms, negotiate. I don't know, something that you can get in physical writing of renegotiating when you've proven X, right? I'm positive that they would have no problem writing little things in. It doesn't mean that they have to come to the table and give you XYZ, but you have the ability to come back to the table with more power than you started with.
Just ask.
It's really about asking. I think
just ask, but the education isn't there too. Because you don't know the music business.
You don't know the music business, but I feel like we've seen this enough time within rap. We've seen the 360 deal in rap so much. You can't tell me you don't know that at this point. I will not let you act just because you want to be oblivious to it doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. And you cannot tell me that no one ever in the history of ever has ever heard of this 360 deal at this point in 2025, 2024. We've had social media quite a bit of time. You cannot tell me that. So just say that maybe you didn't know what to ask for. But you cannot tell me you don't know what the stakes are when you sign this deal. I don't want to hear that. I'm tired of that. We need to do away with. Oh, I didn't know.
I'm with you. I'm with you. It's enough of the excuses.
I'm tired
that we're making.
And then don't come back to us on the internet 5 years later. I can't get out of my deal.
If this is something that we would do, then they should be able to say it.
I ain't even in the music business, and I know about it.
I'd be damned if I signed any paperwork without having someone look over it.
At this point,
without having someone look over
I've seen too many rappers get on the internet and cry about their deals, and I don't even listen to half of the rappers that I see that pop up on my timeline who tell me how awful it is, and didn't even ask for this information, by the way. I'm just on the internet like any other person, and you pop up in my face saying I can't get out of my deal and woo. But then scroll back just a little bit and I see you standing here with the money to your ear. Please stop talking to me. Please stop talking to me, because if I can do that as someone who is not invested in the music industry, you can do that as someone who's trying to break into it. I don't want to hear it. I'm tired of it.
Yeah, I feel like it is such a small group. Like just and we could just keep it in the genre space, right? Like it's just a small group. You can definitely reach out to those that has like, and even if you feel that, like hypothetically you're in Memphis, right, and you want to talk more about the deals that are out there and what I should be looking forward to, and how to avoid certain people and things. Even if you feel like Yo Gotti won't give you the information without you actually signing with him, then that's fine. Let me find someone else. Like the music industry, I feel like it's a small group that you could definitely get a hold of somebody, especially if you're popping. Like you can't tell me what I want to take it off of Glow simply because, but like let's say hypothetically, Amber was popping in 2022. There were several people, and I'm talking about you, number one, right? You got a song, and everybody's trying to figure out where you from. Who is this chick that's coming out of Memphis? You mean to tell me you didn't have not one person that can get you in front of someone else, or that like you couldn't at least get the ear of someone that's been in it for X amount of time? You can't tell me that.
If you made it this far to get someone to hear you and want to sign you, there's someone there. And that's, I think that's the point of the matter, honestly. Yeah, and I'm not going to repeat any extra talking points. I don't want to hear the excuses. And what I will say as well, to your point, and to put a button on it, is that every industry is very small. And I have been in the hotel industry. I cannot tell you as many hotels as there is, right? I cannot tell you how many times I have went to a different hotel. We are all connected to each other by up to 3 degrees or 5 degrees or something like
6 degrees.
Of people that we know. Okay. Yeah. And so if that's the case, I cannot tell you how many times I have gone to a different hotel, talked to someone and said, "Oh yeah, I know such and such. Do you know him?" And I do. He's a director. He's a whatever. He's a whoever. Right. And just like that, I've been able to make a connection with someone who's halfway across the country. Yeah. And I stay in touch with that person or whatever. They tell me about job opportunities, etc. So it works like that in every industry. I don't care what industry you're in. So you cannot tell me that out of the degree of people who are around you, not one of them can give you insight into this contract, can give you guidance on questions to ask, point you in the direction of where you should go. Yeah, like you cannot tell me that.
Appointing you a lawyer,
I'm sorry, you can't tell me, even if they're not a lawyer. Maybe they're a lawyer and all they can do is breeze over it. Maybe they're a paralegal. Maybe they're in some degree within the legal field and just
can look over it for you.
Something. You cannot tell me that. So I'm not going to repeat anything.
It's tough though when there's, like 2 Chainz said, he was just like, it's a lot of M's on the table.
I do get that. I'm sure.
But that's up front. They got to get that back.
Yeah, like so they're gonna.
You may not see a dime from your music for the next 10 years, and then when you realize that, you're like, wait a minute. Oh, there is a thing called, what is it? ROI, return on investment. Yeah,
they want their money back.
They want the residuals. Yeah, they want that money back. Oh, absolutely. I gotta pay for studio time.
And even if you take that money, you better put it into some type of investment.
And that's where education comes in.
But we will wrap it up.
Wrap it up.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us. If you have any questions that you would like for us to read on the show, please send them to cremebrulee@gmail.com.
Yes.
If you want to hang out with us a little bit more, you can follow us over on TikTok at cremebrulee, or the podcast itself at Millennial Minds Podcast. We also have our website if you want to hang out with us there. It is cremebrulee.com.
Yes.
Other than that, I think that's it.
That's it.
We will see you on the next one. Peace out.